listening to The Sailor Angler, and my daddy's the host.
All right, well, special thanks to my sweetheart for the introduction, and welcome to the Sustainable Angler Podcast. I'm Rick Crawford, angler, sustainability consultant, and founder of Emerger Strategies. This season, we're launching the Sustainability Blueprint, a deep dive into how fishing and outdoor brands can grow, meet retailer demands, navigate emerging regulations, and protect the places we all love. If you're part of the fishing and outdoor industry, this is your roadmap to surviving and thriving in a changing world. Let's build better brands and protect what we love together. Today on the Sustainable Angler, I'm joined by Riverhorse Nakadate. Riverhorse is an angler, surfer, writer, musician, adventurer, and someone I'm proud to call a friend. In our interview, he tells me that books are like magic portals that can take us to faraway places. And after reading his new book, Waterlines, A Life on Marshes, Rivers, Seas, and in the Rain, I couldn't agree more. Riverhorse shares his rowdy and hilarious adventures wandering from the salt marshes and coastlines of Texas, to Colorado's alpine lakes, the Oregon and California shores, Minnesota's boundary waters, the Yucatan mangroves, the Arctic Circle, Africa, and Montana's spring creeks. We talk about the 5-year journey of getting his book published with Patagonia Books, the Boundary Waters debacle, Mexican drug cartels forcing local fishermen to a legally long line for fish in Texas waters, how music, surfing, fly fishing, and writing help Riverhorse make sense of the world, and how they're all interconnected by water. We also talk about the miracle of wilderness and life, and much more. I hope you enjoy. And before we dive into the interview, I just want to say thank you. I'm truly grateful that you take the time to listen to this podcast. I hope these conversations inspire you to take action for nature. If you're enjoying the show, a quick free way to support it is by leaving a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. The Sustainable Angler is available anywhere you listen to podcasts and is also airing Saturdays at 2 p.m. on Charleston's first and only community-supported radio station, OM Radio, 96.3 FM. This episode of The Sustainable Angler is brought to you by Emerger Strategies, Ecolytics, and a New Earth Project, the sustainability initiative of Atlantic Packaging. Fishing taught me that everything in nature is interconnected. Just as a fiddler crab, a tailing redfish, and a marsh ecosystem are connected, so are our businesses and our planet. And we have a vision of businesses and the environment thriving together. Imagine a company that not only champions the sport of fishing, but also leads on climate action and conservation efforts. Products and packaging that are friendly to marine life and that degrade harmlessly back into the earth. It's not a dream, it's a strategy, and that's what we do at Emerger Strategies. We guide businesses on their sustainability journey by helping them measure and improve the sustainability performance of their operations, products, and packaging, all while boosting profits. Because when nature thrives, we all thrive. Together, we can make a difference for generations to come. Visit our website at emergerstrategies.com. Let's protect what we love together. If you're running a fishing, outdoor, food, or apparel brand, sustainability isn't just marketing. It's directly tied to the landscapes, waterways, and communities your business depends on. But actually tracking and improving your impact can get complicated fast. Ecolytics is a software platform that helps values-driven companies measure and manage their environmental and social impact all in one place. Ecolytics helps replace scattered spreadsheets with a clear system for tracking things like emissions, sourcing practices, and social impact, so you know where you stand and what to improve next. They specialize in helping companies pursue B Corp certification, one of the most rigorous and respected standards for business sustainability. What I appreciate is that Ecolytics works hand in hand with sustainability consultants, including folks like me. That means companies get expert guidance and a platform that keeps the work organized, credible, and audit ready. Whether you're exploring B Corp certification or just getting started with sustainability as a business, Ecolytics turns your good intentions into measurable action. To learn more, visit ecolytics.io. That's ecolytics.io. And mention the Sustainable Angler podcast to get a discount on your first year subscription. Thanks to Ecolytics for supporting the show and for supporting businesses that protect the places we love.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, man.
5 years of rambling and running wild to get this beauty out and out in the world. I've really enjoyed it. I'll admit I have not finished it yet, but I'm about 2/3 of the way there. And I love the format. I've got little kids, and being able to actually complete a chapter quickly is nice.
I couldn't believe how fast all those stories read. You know, you're working on them, and some of these were in Fly Fish Journal or a little bit versions of them. And there's big coffee table photos with each. And then with the book, they just fly. And it's just a beautiful painting here and there. So I was shocked even. I'm like, wow, this, even the audiobook, that only took, I think that's 7 hours and 10 minutes.
Really?
And you know how mellow I am. Like I'm just cruising in that book, just loving it, letting it breathe. So you can read this book in 6-7 hours.
Yeah. It was I was in Nags Head, North Carolina 2 weeks ago for vacation, and that was my get out, read a quick chapter, go run, chase the kids, read a quick chapter. It was perfect format.
I can tell you this, you haven't gotten to a couple of the craziest things. Like, I had all my life, I saved certain pieces just for the book.
Oh, wow.
And, you'll get to Africa and the Yucatan and more Lapland, and then a total eclipse. That'll be a big ending to the book.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to finish it this week.
I bet.
So what, is this always been sort of the goal, it sounds like, of if you were saving stories to one day put them all together into a book, or walk me through that?
Yeah, for sure. Even since I was a little boy, I mean, you read it in the intro, but if I wasn't fishing, I was hanging out at the public library.
Yeah.
And then I get it, my mom falls in love, and I get adopted by this incredible, PhD literature Stanford grad who's a steelheader from Oregon. So that was it. Like he and I just went nuts together, reading the books and fishing. And every summer we'd come out here to Oregon. So if you look at the table of contents, that painting is from just a few steps from this house I'm in, looking down on the coast and Haystack Rocks. But I don't know how more to say that I'm crazy for books. I feel books are magic portals. You can hold this in your hand. It's just like music. As soon as you hear those notes, it affects your emotions, your whole body. Same as when you really read words. They're so powerful. And you could be sitting in some plastic seat at an auto garage, getting a a car tune-up or a tire change, and you're reading a book, and the next thing here, you take water lines, you're in Lapland, or you're hanging with ZZ Top at a bar or something like that. Let alone just the wisdom that's in there and the joy and that fireball of emotions. So yeah, I would always dreamed of doing the book, dreamed, and I figured I'd do them. But the ultimate dream, of course, was to do it with Patagonia books. And I just thought, no way, And so I put in the proposal, and it sat there for a year because, and most people would, just like with Fly Fish Journal, I never sent my work anywhere else. Like, I'm really loyal.
Yeah.
And so I turned in the proposal to Patagonia, and it was John Dutton and Carla, amazing people. And even that they were emailing me considering it, I just thought, oh, this is great. Like, wow, that's cool. And they said, here's the deal. Yvonne just gave the company to the Earth as the shareholder. So that was when I turned in the proposal. So it sat for 1 year while they had to figure out what is Patagonia Books anymore? What is anything? What's going to happen? They got a new CEO, Ryan Gellert. So all that's the same time when I turned in the book. And all of a sudden, even dude is like, aren't you going to submit it anywhere else? I'm like, nah, it'll all work out. And I'm not worried about it. And he's like, you're crazy. Somebody else would take it in a heartbeat. And I said, yeah, I don't want to be with anybody else. Like, that's my team. I'm on that ambassador team. There's like 12 guys in the world. Even that, I think, is hilarious that I'm on there. Those guys are all legends. And then there's me. And, so cool to be a part of that. But none of that time have I taken any sponsorships or free stuff. Like, I just want to be clean. I just want to have that be my family. So all of a sudden, a year later, I'm out for a hike on the bayou, and I hear an email ping in. I'm like, oh, what's this? And it's like, congratulations, you got a book deal. We're going to have a Zoom meeting with the team in the morning and talk about your contract. I was like, what? Oh, shit. Cool. So then I was like, oh no, wow, I got to do this now. And had the meeting. The contract was ridiculously amazing. I heard an interview once where Carla from Patagonia Books, she was getting interviewed, and she said, we're in a position that no book company in the world is in. And the interviewer says, what do you mean? And she says, we're not publishing books to make money. We're publishing books because the earth needs this book. Whatever book we put out, we believe the earth needs this book. And I was like, wow, I get it. So anyway, it goes in front of the board, and they have like 7 or 8 stories, and it's Yvonne Chenard and Melinda and the CEO, and I guess a couple other people, and they love it. They're like, yeah, Riverhorse, let's do this. And so I do the contract, and I have about a year to write it. And I just hunker down. I hide out in the Great Lakes in the woods. And I love writing. I had so many journals, and then turned it in. And the very next day that I turned it in, Rick, my editor retires.
What?
Yeah, he retires. I'm like, no. And they're like, well, we'll find somebody. Just hold tight. So then it sits for another year. But in the meantime, they have a professional read it and go, yeah, this book's amazing. It's good. You're good to go. He fulfilled his contract. And then I get an editor. So that's like 3 years in. I get an editor, this guy, Matt Samet, who's this mountain climbing legend. Incredible dude. I don't know him. I know of him. But I'm like, what? How is this guy editing my adventure? Like, okay, fine. And we have a Zoom the next day with him and just take off. And that was a blast. I can remember at one time he sends me 848 comments to address. And I'm like, oh.
848.
848 comments. I'm like, and you have to go through each one on the document, like write notes to him or justify it or argue. And that was cool. Anyway, we go through the whole process, and he's like, I'm pleased, Carla, to turn in water lines. And they're like, great job, Riverhorse. Now we're sending you to your next editor. And I was like, wait, what?
No way.
Send me to a woman in upstate New York, and she's incredible. Like she's like, Riverhorse, my job is to not F this up. This thing is beautiful. Like, oh my gosh, let's do this. Let's make it even better. I'm like, okay. And so she raises the bar and pushes me. And then finally it goes through 3 separate proofreaders. Like they don't mess around. They're flying around the country interviewing artists. Like crazy.
That is a wild process. So all in all, like from the proposal being sent to this was released like last month or so, I think.
No, Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Like how was that 3 years?
No, 832 years.
800.
No,
Like 832.
no, it's 5 years. 5 years with the writing, the proposals, the contract, the editing. I
Wow.
bet, and that's probably standard in the world of books. Like this is probably fast. Like who knows, you know?
I that's just like, I mean, so much can happen in 5 years. Like it's just that's wild. Anyway, it's awesome. And I love that it's all over the place too, right? Like, because I've never fished in the Pacific Northwest. I've never been up there, but like reading that story with O'Keefe, like, man, I was like scrambling right there with you, and like it was the images that it creates in my head when I'm reading it. And I feel like I've been there a little bit now. You know, it's almost like I can picture it in my mind. Um, so yeah, I loved and redfish. Come on, redfish don't get enough love, and this has a lot of redfish stories, which I love too.
Yeah, well, even the cover painting is my favorite redfish marsh. Like that's where I put in. So yeah, even looking back, Rick, like I can't believe I went to all those places. It's still just, I can't believe it myself. Like there's so many locales from the Yucatan down into like Colorado alpine lakes and Africa, Mozambique. That is a crazy adventure. But I was over there for months. There's a little hint of Fiji on the way there with military tanks and a coup and craziness and, shotguns, and there's guitar stuff. There's an NFL quarterback, rock stars
Yeah.
behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, but I just had so much fun. You know what's cool is they said, hey, we were going to do an index at the end of the book where they just name all the people, places around, And I thought, oh, you don't need that. And I go, no, this. And so you look at the index. If you read those 3 pages, it's like lifetimes of hilarious. It's like baboons, Johnny Cash, The Road, Ku Klux Klan. Like it's like what? And I read that and I was like, this is crazy fun. It's almost just like this quick summary of my life in that little 3 pages. Read the index. It's like this whole meal in itself. It's hilarious.
That's awesome. But some of the stories in here too, right, are very conservation focused, or I won't say very conservation, but they have it's beautiful writing and there's a conservation message. And so like Boundary Waters or the Texas Wildlife commercial fishing net deal. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that stuff? And without, I don't want to give the book away, but there's there's important conservation stories being told by also beautiful words about nature and adventure and hilariousness of it all. Lots of pie. Um, but yeah, could you talk a little bit about how you use your words to protect places that you love?
Yeah, for sure. And the Boundary Waters, I turned in the book. We did the book, and look at it now. Look what's happened. They reversed the 20-year ban on mining. In a nutshell, for your listeners, the Boundary Waters is America's most visited wilderness in the whole country. So many people love it. It's a series of 1,000 some wilderness lakes with nothing there but beauty and fish, and there's no homes, no power lines. It is our public wilderness. 20% of the whole fresh water and the whole forest system, the U.S. forest system, is there. That's like one of the few things I've learned after all these years, is that there's nothing more precious than clean water, especially now with data centers, and the West is running out of water. You look at the Grand Canyon, Colorado, that's just shocking. So obviously we need that water for food and for living. You won't live more than 7 days without water or something like that. So 20% of the fresh water is up there in the forest system. There's a Chilean billionaire who wants to bring in hard rock mining, which is 100% of those mines in history have failed. Every single one. So in the first place, let's not do that in our wilderness. Yeah, I got a cell phone. We need copper for all kinds of things. We can find places to get it. We got great technology. We're not going to do that at the headwaters of a wilderness where the pollution of sulfuric acid would go all the way to Hudson Bay. Come on, man. There'll never be another boundary waters again. You can't make that. You can't, have a construction company build you an incredible wilderness. So not only that, the guys from Chile, if we're going to do a mine, let's use our company or our United States. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. And then he's promised that anything he gets, he'll send it to Russia and China. Is this a joke? Is this, come to our country? You've got more pollution fines than anybody in the world in your country. Do that in our wilderness and send the materials away after you crap it. Like, this is impossible. So, and then there's backstories there where the current administration, his kid was given a $6 million mansion to use by the billionaire. The New York Times wrote about it and blah, blah, blah. Like, we got footage of them there and stuff. But for my Northern Light film, we just chose to focus on the beauty. But there is no world where that makes sense or where that's appropriate. So the boundary waters, I'm obviously up there having a beautiful, tear-jerking, awesome, joyous experience. And it's kind of serendipitous because as I'm at the end of the book, drying out clothes, that's when I meet Tony Check, like the greatest photographer and filmmaker that I've ever known. And we start this partnership to do these films, whether Lapland or up there, and that's where his home's from. Anyway, so the Boundary Waters, if you want to help out or know what's going on, just get on savetheboundarywaters.org. And right now there's a representative in Minnesota, Representative Stauber, and I'm not going to say what I think of all that on the record. Well, I mean, you can imagine. I have some words for that. But he put in a bill to reverse it and to allow no public response forever. Just let that guy mine and own it forever. Giving it the way the wording is in there, it gives them rights to that for eternity. Some Chilean billionaire for our wilderness. It gives them rights for eternity. Like, this is so wrong on so many levels. So the good news is that Minnesota, there's a thing called the bad actor bill. And if you can, somebody's coming to your state, no matter what federal says, if somebody's coming to your state, you can say, this guy's a bad actor. We're not going to have these mining leases. Get out of here. They could stop this guy. From what I understand, will they do that? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Waltz is pretty cool. Nobody's heard from Waltz since they lost the election. But as far as all these politics, like, people wonder what mine are. My politics are just do right by humans and the earth. Like, right. I don't mind. I have great friends on both sides. Like, I don't care about any of that. And all those politicians are just nonstop. They've lost track of, they're there for us, to care for us citizens and the greater good. And they just, it seems like they're just fighting each other. So, we're talking about all this and I'm naming administrations and representatives, but I don't have any side. I don't take any sides to any of that. I just love our earth and wilderness and our country. So whatever, guys, like, just do right by us. So
yeah, it's pretty simple, right? And I think it was Wendell Berry, but like the most appropriate quote for it's like, do unto those downstream as you would have those upstream do unto you. And it's like this mine is at the headwaters of 20% of the fresh water. Like, this is crazy. And it's 100% failure rate. Nothing about this makes sense, but it makes sense to somebody who's an elected official who's getting paid. Like, it's making sense to someone. And the only reason is to line their pockets, is what it appears to me to be.
Yeah, I think after the book tour, I'll go over to Washington, D.C. and buy a couple $6 million mansions and give them to some politicians and say, hey, I'm going to give you these. Make sure you protect the boundary water. So I'll take care of it, Rick.
Well, tell me more about this illegal commercial netting operation that's happening, and it seems like it's a daily thing from what I read, right? I mean, from the book, it seems like this is something they got to constantly monitor, right?
Yeah. So this story is bananas, like crazy, crazy. Even for me, I think, oh boy. So there's a guy named Graham Jones. He's now the head of TCA. I think you know Graham. He's a good friend.
Yeah.
I was doing an event at Patagonia Austin years ago, and he came out for the reading, and it was for the Devil's River, and introduced himself. And he's like, where are you going from here? And I said, well, I'm going to sleep on the truck by the river. I'm jumping in the river to fish all day. And he's like, come over to our house. And sight unseen, he knows of my stories and Fly Fish Journal. So I ended up sleeping on his couch, and we hit the river the next day. He catches an 8-pounder. I think I caught him a couple bigger ones on poppers. Anyway, we become friends and kindred souls. And he calls me one day, oh man, I got a situation, a story for you. He tells me about in the Gulf, the drug cartels are forcing wonderful, beautiful indigenous fishermen to go out in these ponga boats with motors and put out miles of long lines. And whatever fish they get, they take them from the fishermen, smuggle them across the border to us, and resell them to us, which the Gulf can't sustain. Number one, I talked to one biologist, and they said they're taking 3 times more but you can't blame the fishermen. Like, these are
Right.
beautiful. Latino culture is awesome. Like, I'm crazy for all my Latino people and the music and culture. So the whole thing's just heartbreaking to me to wrap my head around, let alone, can you imagine the cartels come to you and say, you're going to do this illegal fishing or you're not here. Basically, that's what I understand it is. There's no choice.
Yeah.
So, but those long lines, that kills dolphins, sea turtles. Then there's guys out there shark finning. So Graham says, I think I can get you undercover in there. And I was like, what happened? He goes, yeah, you put on, bulletproof vests on a certain day. We're going to smuggle you down there. We're going to go up the Rio Grande into the cartels and infiltrate and try to catch some longliners and shark finners. And I'm like, well, I want to do it. Let me talk to Patagonia and my team. And I talked to those guys, and they're like, what? They never had a gun in a story or anything. They're like, Riverhorse, we're going to have a meeting. Let's talk about it tomorrow. We got to reconvene. So the next day they're like, okay, we'll do this story. This is on you. This is on you. Anything happens, this is all you. And I was like, yeah, of course it is. I'm good. And so they say, let's do it. And so I go for it. There's machine gun boat chases. We go up through the Rio and the cartels and catch a guy at 4 miles of long line, and they let me pull the whole thing in. Just heartbreaking. You can see the stories on Patagonia's Cleanest Line, the pictures, but the book does, that's the place to read it. And then we catch a shark finner. One person has 862 fins. 862. Oh, man. And so there's going to be a big court case. So the fins go to this small town in Texas, Baytown, Texas. So after I'm all done with those guys, I drive to where the fins are with Tony, and they would give me access to it. And I put all the fins out on the floor of a warehouse. Some of the fins are 3 foot tall. And I'm a surfer.
Yeah.
So this is mind blowing to me. Like that's your apex predator. You've taken that. So that's just heartbreaking. And I get so messed up by the end of that piece. Like I just take off in the canoe for days with my food and blanket, and I can't even breathe. I'm so sad. But that, and after that piece came out, it brought such awareness. Texas Monthly, NPR, like everybody thinks, wow, this, and they kind of jump in on it. But we were the first for sure.
I mean, it's just truly sad that there is just a total lack of respect just for life, like in all life. Like, how is this not? What's the end game? Like, all to make a buck. I mean,
yeah, money. It's always about money. There's nothing we're talking about here that isn't about money. But what is the value of wild fish and an eco? What is the value of the birds and the freshwater and the boundary waters? It's priceless. So fortunately, it's always just a small group or a couple of people making the money, and the rest of us are losing it. I understand it. If you need that fish to eat to survive, I'm all about it. Like, hey,
yeah,
let's live in the now. Let's feed our families and children, ourselves. Yeah, all the way. But it's not that. It's not. That's not the case here. Anyway, what's fun about the book is there's stuff like that. There's some super personal heartbreak. There's some, as hot a romance as I will get in my life. There's you get to see what a player I am in the book. Have you read that piece yet?
yeah.
Okay, so that's in there. You get to see all my moves, and there's hilarious like caught trespassing on national television with cops, and so there's so much fun in there in between the heartbreak and the joy and the beauty, and just wanted to roll everything in. And what I didn't want to do is to have a guy hero big fish book. That isn't me.
Yeah.
I'm heart on a sleeve, even almost like a deeply feminine love for the earth, like that, like a maternal, I feel part of the earth, like an earth mother. And I wanted the book to have that, just the joy, the rowdiness, the heartbreak. I wanted to tell the truth. All these books that are coming out, these are guys, rich guys in lodges. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, well, I had a cigar. I lost this brown trout. It was so devastating. But then we went to the wine room and they cooked the steaks. Like, what? And certainly there's a place for that. And that's that old pantheon of fly fishing male hire, and I'm sleeping in the dirt, and my big meal for the day is finding a Dairy Queen, and
Meet me at the queue.
what happened to boots on the ground? Even the one lodge in that book, which you haven't gotten to, I immediately haul ass into the backcountry and leave that place. When I arrived there was somebody had passed up a trip for a Gordy's trip, and they called me, hey, if you can get a plane ticket to Cancun, there's a free trip over there. And I'm like, listen, I'll take that free trip, but as soon as we get there, I'm disappearing. I'm going to find a little wooden boat or something. I'm going to the backcountry the whole week. I won't see you guys. And they're like, what? I was like, that's what I'm doing. And they're like, okay. So when I first get there, the lodge guy says, what time would you like your morning coffee delivered to your bedside? And I was like, never. Like, number one, I would rather give this guy coffee. Like, he shouldn't have to serve me. And number two, I won't be there. And so you'll read that story. It's the Yucatan story, but that is one of the closest moments I have ever been to death, like dying a horrific, gnarly, bloody, nasty death. That story is, even the first editor, the mountain climber, said he was terrified. He's like, I can't. I couldn't sleep after reading that. And I was like, yeah, it sucked.
I'm looking forward to getting to that story. I might have to skip ahead for this one.
Yeah.
Well, so through all, like, you through this book, you're different places, but it seems that you're canoe is somewhat of a constant in your life if you can get it where it needs to be. Um, tell us more about your canoe because I'm a kayak. I just have a kayak, right? And so it's got like a little platform and a rope where I can pull myself up and stand and look for redfish. And I love fishing out of it because it's just more, I don't know, it's more intimate, I feel like. And you just take your time and you can literally ride the tides. And but I'm for my own personal knowledge, I'm curious about your canoe.
Oh, I mean, that's partly a heritage thing. So my mom's Cherokee, Scotch Irish, and somehow I'm wired to love the canoe thing. I don't do kayaks. I've never been in one, but canoes are sacred to me. If there's one tip I could give to any fisherman or human is to leave land, get on water. And canoes allow you a green powered, soulful way to interact. Plus you can have all that gear and you can sleep in it. Canoes are everywhere. I've had that thing on all three coasts and oceans. Unfortunately, caught in a hurricane at midnight in that canoe summer. So it hasn't even. This is a year ago. So not quite a year it's been since I got caught in that, and I've been writing about it. But yeah, I take that canoe everywhere. There's a fun skiff story in the book, True Horsepower. Did you get to that one? Where I thought, oh, I'm going to try to, I bought a skiff. I didn't know what I was doing. And it was so cool, but it wasn't me. I stressed the whole time. I'm like, wow, what if I run over this or gas or this trailer and boat storage? And the whole thing there were 10,000 things that came with it. Whereas if I'm cruising around anywhere in the country and the canoe's on the roof and I see any cool lake, river, in 10 seconds, I'm in that thing. I'm gone. Like I'm having some cool random adventure. So for a million reasons, canoes are the world to me. I have three of that same canoe, the Merrimack Osprey. It's a 13-footer, which doesn't sound long, but it's got these great hips and incredible canoes, let alone they're beautiful. Like the more adventures you take them, the insides are made out of Minnesota cherry woods and ash. They just get this dark amber whiskey patinas and cherry. So yeah, I can't even talk about it. I just get so excited. Like I want to be in it all day. Canoes have been in my living room for years, like in the middle of this cool old bungalow. Like they stay with me.
I love it. Well, what are some of the like what draws you to some of the places that you choose to take off and go run wild in? Like there's, you have a connection to the Oregon coast, right? And the Texas coast, but some of these other places, like what is it that draws you to them?
So just pure, untapped, untouched wilderness. I love people and the human race, but I like solitude and quiet. Early in the book, I talked about how that happened. Like nobody wanted to go to these places with me or stay very long or be away from their air conditioners or TVs. And so okay, I'll just do this to myself and I'm happy alone. But I'm looking for untapped wilderness. That's how I end up in Mozambique and El Salvador so many times in Peru. Like for a long time, before all the fly fishing writing, for 10 years, I was a staff writer for Surfing out of California, that magazine. And the same thing, like all I would write about was, empty, gorgeous places. And I'd write a piece of prose poetry, and at the end, and they'd have an artist do a painting to each one of these. And it was called The Last Ride. But my MO never changed, whether I was a little boy on my bicycle or now, with the car or taking puddle jumpers into the Arctic Circle. Like you get to be alone in those wildernesses. And it's a fun juxtaposition, almost a crazy hypocrisy because I live in, Houston, which is 6 million people, concrete. Like why do I live there? You think about it, but I have so many friends lakes and rivers and 330 miles of barrier islands. That's why I'm there. And I founded that writing program for high school kids, which I really believe in that. Like, as much as I may look like somebody who just lives their life for themselves, I know better than that. Like, you have to be dedicated to conservation and community. So teaching those high school kids to find their voice and love books and words, like, that means the world to me too. Plus, it gave me health insurance, and it's only
That's nice.
that contract is 34 weeks a year, so that gives me 200 days to go do anything. So it's a win-win on that. But yeah, I go to those places because I want to be in lone and untapped wilderness, and I feel there's fewer and fewer of those places, but I still feel there's tons of them out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yet to be discovered. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
We set out with a New Earth project to really start a movement.
It's a global coalition of people who are deeply concerned and want to accelerate the transition away from problematic packaging to more sustainable solutions.
Our entire value proposition was built on helping companies package things better. We were doing sustainability before sustainability was cool. We just called it packaging optimization. And packaging optimization really is about using less. And we built our whole business on that. People send us their products, their goods, and we help them design packaging systems and solutions for the least possible cost, utilizing the least amount of material. Use less is always the right answer.
And that's what I see with companies like a New Earth Project, is it's like, we're just trying to create solutions for big companies and small, that makes it easier for them, cheaper for them, whatever it is, and then has less impact. Not just trying to tell people you should have less impact and making the choice forced on them. Like, make it better for everybody, and it'll make it better for the whole world.
We see the problem, and we are with you.
ZZ, you did big techs?
Yeah. I know. I'm looking.
That was obviously Billy Gibbons coming over to hang out and play guitar.
On the porch.
Yeah. And that's crazy. I mean, I haven't hung out with Billy Gibbons much at all, but the few times have been, one time, Rick, he borrowed one of my guitars, not plugged in, just this cool Gibson Les Paul, and we were working on something, and Billy was doing his own thing, but out of the corner of my eye, I glanced and saw him stroll into the sunroom, playing the guitar unplugged and dancing by himself in the front room. And I was like, geez, there's ZZ Top with my guitar in the sunroom, and he's dancing around the room by himself, unplugged. Like, this guy really loves guitar. Like, you would think after all these decades, but he's dancing alone in a room with a guitar unplugged, playing it. And I was like, wow, that guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
Let alone, I was like, wow, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a Paul Puckett's like godfather or something. He's got a ZZ Top connection. Like, he was a producer on one of their albums. Anyway, he had some pretty cool stories about ZZ Top.
So that's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
So Paul, I know all those stories before I met Paul. And then one time Paul came through to visit. I took him bass fishing. We just went nuts. And he said, how far is Tyler, Texas from here? Texas is bigger than Spain. I'm like, oh, that's where your home is? He goes, oh, man, my mom and dad are at our hut. It's about to be his birthday, or it's his birthday. And I was like, well, I said, show me the map. Let's go right now. And he's like, you kidding? I'm like, you can't miss that. So we drive to his parents' house, and his dad plays all this music for us and tells us all those stories about them recording ZZ in the early days, and Johnny Winter, and all those great Texas players. And then Paul calls me a week later, and he's really quiet. I'm like, what's going on, buddy? And he goes, man, I just so glad you took me there. And I go, what happened? He goes, my dad passed away right after we left. Are you kidding me? Because I was like, well, that was meant to be then, but he was so thankful. I was like, man, I'm sorry, Paul. we were just having lunch with him in the kitchen, and his mom was chewing Paul out because can you imagine being Paul's parent? No. How many lifetimes of stress and joy has that guy given? Even there were boyhood pictures of like an elementary school Paul in there that I hit the floor laughing. Like I'm like, look at this picture. Look at this Little League picture or your third grade. Like Paul was still Paul.
Yeah.
Even, and at one point we'd had a big night together, he and I, and he's wearing like a multicolored rainbow one-piece jumpsuit. He comes out and I'm like, no, bro, we are not going out. We're not going out to eat in that. And he's like, yes, we are. And I was like, okay, fine. So that, all that Texas stuff, and Texas has all the guitar stuff. I got to hang with Stevie, done for Fretboard Journal and Tone Quest Report. I've written all these guitar stories, which is so amazing. But yeah, the music world is a small world, I mean, I've found myself in New York once with Twisted Sister for a week, hanging out with those guys for a story, and just like, I don't belong there, and still had a blast. But and a funny sidebar is the JJ French of Twisted Sister, the guitarist. I got to take you to this Mexican restaurant, Riverhorse. I know you're Texan. I'm like, okay, I really don't want to go. I'm sorry. And he takes me there, and it is crap. It's the worst Mexican food I've ever had. It's just, I swear the salsa is from a can or something. And I have to tell this guy, I'm like, JJ, this is the worst I've ever had. And he just like, he looks at me so sad and goes, oh, it's my favorite. And I was like, you need to come visit me, buddy. Because your We're Not Gonna Take It song, that's how I feel about this Mexican food. we're still friends, but he was so bummed. I'm like, JJ, come on, man. This is terrible.
That's amazing. So it seems like music, surfing, fly fishing, writing, books. What sort of ties all those things together for you?
I just think they're all art and emotion and ways of making sense of the world, whether it's music, words, being out in the wilderness and understanding our place in it. It's all the same thing to me. It doesn't feel like a bunch of different things. Surfing is water, fly fishing is water. There will never be a day when I go outside where I'm not just looking at rays of sunlight or birds or trees, flower. Like, I am crazy for this earth. It's easy to get so distracted with all the crap out there, the technology, this hustle bustle world, but I'm not into it. Like, I cannot believe the miracle of wilderness and life that we live in. Like, we're even watching the sun and the moon each day and stars, and that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. That there could be a storm in Chile with 40, 50 mile an hour winds, and days upon days later, that wind has pushed waves all the way to Oregon. I paddle out there and I'm sitting there, and that's the last energy of that. Plus I fly across it like a bird, surf it, It doesn't seem believable. It doesn't seem believable to me that a drop of rain in South America could evaporate, float all the way to the boundary waters, freeze over the winter. I've paddled it in a canoe. Then when it melts from the sun again, solar energy, that could go down the Mississippi all the way to some redfish marsh where I'm fishing. It's the same water, 80% of our bodies. I mean, water is the source. So I am wired to be crazy for the world. I think you read the part in the book where I talk about I've never done a drug in my life.
Yeah.
I'm already, it would take me a year to tie my shoes if I did anything. I'm already so freakishly mellow and just, into the world and stuff. But No, well, and I'd rather have ice cream than some drug or something.
I love it. Well, with all of the, just the craziness of the world, the things that are happening in boundary waters, and just there's a lot of negativity, right? And it's easy to get jaded and feel discouraged and all these things. But what I love about your writing, and I always have, is whether it's Fly Fish Journal, this book, of you being able to bring humor in these stories. And there's been a few laugh out loud moments in this book, but I'm curious, what is it that, despite all of that, we could have spent, this whole podcast talking about all the things that are wrong with the world, right? But what is it that gives you hope about today and the future?
Well, I mean, every moment out there that we just talked about, but what is the choice when we live in the first world. So already we're just blessed. We got the golden ticket. There's people that don't have food, clean water. There's wars going on. You can't even count on both hands the amount of war and heartbreak that's out there, or famines. So I don't want to hear about, I want to do something about that stuff. I don't want to be around somebody where the glass is half empty.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, our glass is 99% full, even on the worst days.
Yeah.
So what are the choices? The only choice, if something's going on, the only choice is either action, or caring about it, or doing your best, or rolling over. And if you roll over, you've rolled over for all the generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
I always have hope in humans, and this is the shittiest stretch that I have ever lived for, as far as taking care of the earth and humans. It is indeed. But to me, I'm going to look at that and say, okay, sometimes it's darkest before the greatest light. Like, what a long night. And sometimes you got to bottom out to get slapped in the face and go, wow, let's get it together here. Here we go. I think that's exactly what's going on here. I think we're already, in weird ways, I think there's already starting the shift. Listen to this Fretboard Journal podcast, this guy Guru Singh, and this weird jamming, some sort of transcendentalist guru, and he said the same thing that I was feeling. Like, he thinks we're already starting the shift. We're going to pull out. We're in the halfway point. We're turning it around. And it's going to feel so good when we get a good administration again. Or one funny thing is, I was reading that the top 7 happiest countries in the world are run by women. And I was like, well, that's our problem. Like, look at all us losers. We need some great female leaders, and they're not going to, be there for the money. That's I feel that if we could really do that if we had great female leaders. Because I'm a mama's boy. You read about it in the book. Did you get to that part?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you tell what an incredible mama had. So anyway, the bottom line is we have so much good and so much to fight for. So we're not going to roll over. I don't want to hear it. I get it. It is baffling, the stuff that comes down the pipe every day right now. It's downright, the lands, everything. It's endless silliness. But let's turn the corner, and I would rather open a can of whoop ass on all that stuff and say, oh, this is so sad, everything sucks. Like, yeah, no, everything's amazing. Here we go.
Yeah, I think that's right. Where can people pick up a copy of Waterlines?
Patagonia.com. I've noticed people buying it all over the place, but this woman popped up on my front porch and rang the doorbell, and I'd seen her around. I'm like, hello, may I help you? And, oh, I got your book. And she got it before it was even released. I'm like, where did you get this from? How did you? And she goes, I ordered it from Walmart. And I'm like, what?
What?
And I was like, you got it from Walmart and it already came like early. And so I think there's so many places you can get it from, and they're all middlemen. They don't really have it in their store. But Patagonia.com, it's 1% for the planet. It doesn't ship there overnight like some big, mega yacht owning corporate people we know. But Patagonia.com it'll be there in a few days, and that's the way to go, I think.
Well, so I'm a sustainability nerd, so I'll have to call this out too. I forgot to mention this earlier. So 1% for the planet, right? So 1% of the sales of all Patagonia goods at a minimum is going to go to environmental nonprofits. And it'll be the same for this book. When you get your copy of this, I'm on like the second page here, and you'll see this environmental benefit statement. So this is really thoughtful, right? Because they took the time to figure out Patagonia saved the following resources by printing the pages of this book on chlorine-free paper made with 100% post-consumer waste. Love that. Okay, so what does that mean? So if you're reading this stuff, this is the world that I live in, right? I help companies minimize their environmental impact. And so this is what this stuff means, right? So by doing this book saved 129 fully grown trees, 10,000 gallons of water, 54 million BTUs of energy, 440 pounds of solid waste, and 55,900 pounds of greenhouse gases. And it is also printed on FSC paper, which means that it is responsibly sourced. So there wasn't any forest that was clear cut to publish this book and print it. So yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier, but that's the sustainability nerd stuff I nerd out on. So I dig that part of it, but that's really cool that's in there.
Yeah, and I think that FSC stands for freaking soulfully cool. I'm not sure. but Patagonia doesn't it's a hardcover, and they don't put a sleeve on it. They don't waste all. It stays a hardcover, but I'll say it for the umpteenth time, like, that is the greatest company in the world, man. If you look at all the polls of who do people most trust and believe, Patagonia. Like, I still can't believe I have a book with them, with Jerry Lopez, Liz Clark, Yvonne, like all those legends, and then some tree hugger hippie from Texas gets a book. Come on, pinch me. But yeah, that's why you go with Patagonia. That's why you support those guys. It doesn't mean the gear is cheap. It means it's ethical and it's killer.
Yeah, and I think that's really important too, right? Is that I was just at an outdoor trade show in New Orleans last week, giving a talk on sustainability. And one of the CEOs of an outdoor brand was saying, or I think he owned a bunch of outdoor shops, like retailers. We were talking about how do you use sustainability as a way to motivate someone to make a better choice, right? And support a brand that's doing the right thing. And the way that he framed it, and this applies to all Patagonia's products, it may be a little bit more than your average jacket or something like that, right? But you consider that this jacket is going to last you 20 years and divide that number by 20, and it's the best decision you can make, right? It's better for the planet. It's a durable product that is going to last you many, many years. So yeah, that was just an interesting reframe to think about that, right? For anyone listening or going, well, I don't know if I really want to spend $600 on whatever. And it's like, yeah, but this is what it costs to do it the right way, and it's going to last you so long. So it's divide that number by 15 or 20, and it's a pretty good value.
And then if for some reason years later you're not happy with it, you send it back and they credit you the money back, or they drive around the country and they fix it for you. Like, it's almost free.
Yeah.
What you pay for it. So they're the best, man. That gear is amazing. But what's funny is, I'm a Patagonia fly fishing ambassador, and they would send me whatever I need, but I have the same puffy coat and I've just duct taped it and like that. I love that coat. I haven't sent it for repairs. Like, they're like, what do you need? You know, they check in. I go, I don't need anything. I'm good.
Well, it's funny you say that. I've had a Patagonia puffy for so long that my mother-in-law made my wife get me another one for Christmas this year. She was like, I don't think I've ever seen him not wearing that red jacket, like in the winter. Like that's the only, I'm like, it's the only one, it's the only one I need. So anyway, I am guilty of, after 15 years, I got a new one and I'm still holding on to the old one.
No, 15 years is a good run. You know, mine smells like a campfire and who knows, but it's all salty. But yeah, they're, like I said, like having this book with these guys is the dream. So here I am. I'm talking to you from Oregon coast, but tomorrow night is Portland, then Seattle, then Bellingham, and you'll see on the Instagram, you know, all the places that the tour's going when this comes out. So hopefully I get to see you guys at some point. But even Atlanta, I've heard that's a fishy community, and Boston. Yeah. It's gonna be cool, man. I'll send you guys.
How do we get you to Charleston? We got to get you down here.
There's the next round. After this thing, and I just tell them where what, and we'll figure it out. But
yeah, cool. Well, hopefully we'll get to see you on round 2.
Yeah, and I did on my Instagram and the links. You can connect to this website I did that keeps everything. Tells you everything that's going on. So that's riverhorse.life. But even when I put it in on a Google search, it doesn't show up. So it tells you how tech savvy I am with my own website. The website's cool, but I only know how to get to it from the Instagram. Like, I don't even know how to get it to work online. Like, but I had this guy, like, it's got all the movies, the book tours, RSVP, film reviews. It's in my Instagram, and then maybe like copy the link into your regular browser. But I think when you make your own website, you got to like plug or do some things to make it show up better. But that thing looks amazing.
I'm about to check it out because I've seen all of your and Tony's films, which is another connection I made through you. Ran into Tony. We were both in Jackson Hole at the same time, and went and met up with Tony. He's a great guy.
That's my guy, man. 9 years, and even the 1 minute book film, the trailer that Tony made for me. I played an old 59 Gibson J45 acoustic to do the music under it. But when Tony was splicing together little moments from all our adventures, we were both like, wow, this is crazy, looking at all the things that he and just the two of us. There was nobody with us, you know? So if you go to Patagonia or in the website or my Instagram, it has that 1 minute book trailer. And even looking at that, you're just like, holy crap. That was, what a ride it's been.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
But I can tell you about Tony, because, you know, I've gotten to do cool. You know, we did Toyota commercials together. He dragged me into all that. Did you read that story yet?
Yeah. I knew about the Toyota commercial. Yeah.
There's been 2 or 3 of those. It's been 3 Toyota commercials, but he dragged me into all that. But I can tell you this. So when we're in the middle of nowhere, that guy is not filming. He's not shooting. And you just think, okay. And you're doing all this. And then finally, like when he finally pulls it out, it's the perfect light or the perfect moment. And he goes, I got it. And I'm like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go fish. And you got it. And then when you see it, like you know, most people would take days just shooting up digital and all that. And Tony doesn't mess around. Like he is. I've just never seen anybody that could do the things that he does in no time. Like he just even scouting, he loves to scout locations or be somewhere. He won't do it. He just wants to feel it, see how the light changes. But I remember when I first brought him to Lapland, I'd already been over there, and in the summertime, it takes 6 hours for the sun to set. And it's just this exploding golden, it's like 6 hour California sunset. And then it turns around and goes back for 6 more hours. So you're sitting there for 12 hours in the greatest sunlight you've ever, like beautiful. I mean, it's crazy there. He loved being over there for that. He's like, okay, this is.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, especially if it's got that good light, I mean, unbelievable.
It's all about the light.
Yeah.
Any of this films, these photos, it is the light. And nobody, all this is like tiny clips. The whole world has turned into these teeny little MTV kind. It's so sad. Like my thing was let it breathe. Even with the audiobook, they let me be me. I was in Beyonce's recording studio where she had recorded albums. That was crazy, but they didn't once try to change me. They're like, okay, the LA producer, and they're like, okay, buddy, okay, tell your story. So it was cool.
So I didn't realize that you actually did the voice on the audio book. That's cool.
Oh man, it just came out. It's with Random and Penguin because Patagonia doesn't. That's their book, but they have to have another company do the outreach to that. Yeah. So yeah, I got to hear it, and it sounds incredible. Like most of my stuff you hear is just me on the iPhone, but the book was in the studio, and I did that for 2 days, recorded it. It's supposed to be 3 days, and then they called me back a week later and said, okay, you got to fix 9 words. And I was like, that's it? All right, cool. So, that's but awesome. I got to hear the audio. You can hear a sample of it on iTunes, like a 5-minute sample for free. Just, you don't, yeah, you got to hear it.
I love reading, but I do read, especially if I'm on a road trip. Like, I love doing an audiobook while I'm driving.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I keep meaning to buy it. It just came out this week, but I'll tell you, in the Spring Quick Master, there's 2 very immature noises in there. And I made those noises in the studio with these big microphones and speakers, and I blasted them, and I said, is that okay? And the LA producer goes, magnificent, keep rolling. I was like, okay, good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Riverhorse, did we cover everything that you wanted to cover on this?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to run down to the beach and turn off this laptop and go. Yeah. Man, I want to find some sand dollars and seashells and go for a 48-degree swim in the waves. So I'm good if you are.
Yeah, no, this was great. I'm glad glad I got to chat with you again. This was fun.
Cool. And thanks for all the work you're doing all these years. Spring Creek Master, when I was driving up to Idaho, that's when you once called me on the phone and said, hey, do you have any thoughts on what I'm doing and tips? And I said, it's going to be so tough for you to do it, but you have to do it. You were just getting into it. And
yeah,
please do it. I don't have any golden bullets. I don't know how to help you, but the world needs this, but it's going to be a long road for you. And you're hanging in there and have done so much good. So I'm so proud of you and love you so much. I'm proud to call you my friend, man. Just can't believe I can't believe you didn't give up.
It's been a journey, but it's like, what else am I going to do? Like, go sell insurance or some bullshit? Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to do? Roll over or not do something for the earth that you love or care about? Like, let's go.
Yeah, it's well, I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate your friendship as well. And yeah, it's conversations like that, right? You every once in a while reach out to a friend and get you through it, right? Because there's definitely peaks and valleys.
Yeah, you need to come visit me. I'll take you out in the canoe in a hurricane. You'll think you're going to die. It'll be great. Come and hang out anytime, buddy.
We'll make it happen. And then I'll hopefully you will make it to Charleston too.
Yeah, that'll happen soon. I need to see Paul. I just signed a book for Paul and got it to him.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I don't want to keep you if you're itching to get outside. But yeah, always good to catch up with you, man.
Okay, be ready for the next book.
Yeah, that's right. In five more years.
No, I got so many adventures lined up. I got like a helicopter booked off of British Columbia to drop me off with an ultralight raft. I got all kinds of stuff lined up. I'll see if I survive it, but I want to ride another one.
Well, I look forward to reading it. I really have just thoroughly enjoyed this. I felt a little bad that I didn't finish it before our interview, but I got through a good chunk of it. But it is, there have literally been. That's how I know that I like the book, if I'm laughing out loud while I'm reading it. You know what I mean? Like I don't do that with every. You're like yeah, and so like because I can hear you saying it, and I'm like
Yeah, you're just getting to the craziest best part. The book just gonna take off from here on out. Be ready, but some hot romance in there. Fasten your seatbelt.
I'm at True Horsepower is my next.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
All right, talk soon. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you. Thanks, bud.
See ya.
See ya. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to head over to emergerstrategies.com for all your sustainability consulting needs, and check out our new The Compliance Ready Brand Blueprint, which is designed to get your sustainability house in order in 30 days or less.